Well, I thought it'd be great in honor of our start of our third year in California. We invite Mr. Buddy Rich to kind of bring his warmth and humility to our show. Buddy currently is helping to make America beautiful by keeping his band off the road. No, he opened a place in New York City. I mentioned it last night on the show. We went there when I was back there last week. It's a great little place called Buddy's Place. Very clever title. 64th and 2nd Avenue, New York, with great jazz and great musicians. Would you welcome Mr. Buddy Rich? I don't want to introduce you now as the world's greatest drummer, the entrepreneur, the proprietor, the owner of Buddy's Place.
How about Uncle Hesh?
Uncle Heshy. You never met my Uncle Heshy.
No, I never had the pleasure.
Strange man.
Lovely man.
No, I met it. You've got a place in New York, and I gave you the New Yorker magazine today.
Yeah.
Which lists what's happening in the city of New York. And they give you some kind of a write-up for a place that's only been open a little over 2 weeks.
It's the third week tonight.
Well, that's a little over 2 weeks.
And we're celebrating by not being there.
That's what I said, a little over 2 weeks.
What did you say just before I came out?
We're starting our third year of the show in California.
That's good luck.
Thank you. But anyway, I'm trying to say nice things about your place. You cannot take real
humble and all of that.
You cannot take real compliments at all.
No, I'll tell you what.
Underneath, you're a facade.
I'm trying. What?
You're a facade. This is all a facade. This.
Say that again.
Coming on. No. Just because you got a black belt, don't start going to give me one of those.
No.
But he got a great write-up, and the musicians were sensational.
The club is really marvelous. I'm having the greatest time of my career.
New York hasn't had a place like that for some time, where you can go hear good music, where people go to hear the music without all the hassle and so forth, and it is sensational.
We try to make that very explicit in front. No noise while the musicians are working.
Well, as New Yorker magazine pointed out, there is very little conversation or heckling, because it said Mr. Rich, who's rather outspoken, restores order immediately. And you do it in that inimitable, warm, innuendo style you have. Like, why don't you folks shut up? Which, and then you play.
Down.
Nobody's a good place.
It's been a very big success, and I want to thank you.
You don't have to thank me.
I don't have to. I want to.
Okay.
And
you should.
I've had some. Okay, you want to do shtick, right?
No.
Because we've had some marvelous people in the club since we opened. Mr. Sinatra's been in twice.
Frank Sinatra twice?
Yes.
Third time, it's Frank's place,
Julie.
Frank wants to come in again.
Frank has been in, and as a matter of fact, he sounded just like that. Maybe he was wearing Julie's face. I don't know. And we've had a lot of great people.
Yeah, we dropped in. We had a good time that night, and I'm glad it's going well.
It's going very well. And
I drove him nuts that night. We were sitting at the table, and I says, this is new to you, being a proprietor and an owner in a place like this. I said, are you sure of your staff? I mean, the people you have working for you. Because I sat with Danny Stradello once and some restaurant owners talking about what can happen in restaurants, the way you can get taken.
Yeah.
And before the evening was over, you were almost ready to sell to me.
I was almost broke by the time you left.
I told him one thing they used to do in nightclubs. Bartenders. Now, I'm not condemning all bartenders, so don't write me a letter saying my husband's a bartender. He doesn't do that. But in some of the clubs...
I didn't know you were married.
Yes, I am. Yes.
To a bartender?
No, I'm not married to a bartender.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. How would this go?
Connect the dots on your face and...
What's the difference in it?
Anyway, what the bartender would do... Now, get this. This is pretty sly. Bartender shows up to work in a cheap nightclub, and he brings a bottle of booze, which he picks up for $3.95, and takes it to work with him, right? And he puts it under the bar, and he sells shots out of that all night. So it's not taking out of the inventory of the club, right?
Who cares about all this?
Well, what I'm telling you is this one of the things you have to watch. It's very interesting to my audience, whether it's interesting to you or not.
Well, why are they all snoring?
Now he sells, because you're here. That's why.
Right. Okay.
And the guy simply pockets all the money.
Yeah, well, we
got
rid of him
20 or 30
night.
shots, you see, and it doesn't show from the stock or anything. So you
No,
don't have
we've got some very good people. I got some very good people handling all the money. Me.
Oh, yes.
I get it all. And I've got Mr. Stanley Kay, who manages the room for me, and it's really a very successful room.
Now, how about people who come in and expect you to pick up the check? Say, hey, buddy, remember I saw you when you were playing with Tommy Dorsey, and boy, you're great, and it's a semi-friend, and they sit down. How do you handle that?
We don't pick up the tab.
You don't?
No. I think the first time when you come up as a gesture of friendliness or whatever it may be, I may pick up the tab. The second time, you got to pay it.
That's it.
That's it.
Good thinking.
Music charge, but everything is fair. It's only $4 for the music charge, and the steaks are $20.
Now, nights, they're going to believe that.
No, it's very fine food from a very fine restaurant below us, Sam's Restaurant.
Well, that's enough plug for your place.
I didn't plug it, man. You did. I don't even want to go back there. I hate it.
You don't drink.
No, I don't drink.
What happens now? You know, very often if a guy runs a restaurant, they're hey, come on over here and sit down and have a drink and talk and do all of that. And you have to have a certain amount of diplomacy, don't you?
Strangely enough, Johnny, you know, for all the years I've been on the road, I get off the bandstand and walk right to the dressing room. But there's a different attitude now. People stop you and ask you to come down and sit at the table. And they don't actually say come down and have a drink. They just want you to sit down and talk.
Yeah.
And it's been a very pleasant experience for me because I get a different idea of what the people are like now. Before, you know, on the one-nighters, you get all the cowboys coming in and, you know. But
and
New York are, you know, it's a great city.
You've mellowed, too.
Oh, yeah.
You see.
You know, I say hello now and smile. I smile a lot.
So you snarl goodbye.
Do you see me smile up in the bandstand?
Just a little bit. You don't... Just a,
Well, it's a small band.
once in a while, you just...
Bigger smile for a big band.
You ever had to bounce anybody yet?
Nope, we've had...
Do you have a bouncer?
No, we don't have a bouncer. We've had a lot of pictures with black belts around them.
Oh, that's another thing the magazine brought out. Humble little touch on the wall are pictures of the proprietor. About, not a wallet size, about you in the black belt going, and with your feet in obscene gestures, and doing all of that yelling and screaming that you do when you put the black, but you are black belt.
Yes.
What is that? Is that to cow the customers into submission?
No, I don't think so. I think there's so many pictures of so many people around. You notice the picture of you up there leading my band. Remember the big picture?
That was an old picture. I got to send you a new picture. That was...
Yeah, I got to get a new picture because a lot of people don't recognize you. They recognize me because I'm young, and you've grown old since you've been on this show.
We'll be right back. We're back. Something else. I was talking about your place last night and being back in New York, which I haven't been for about a year. And wanted to mention there's something else going on there that's really rather fascinating because, you know Sammy Conwell.
Yes.
One of the great lyricists of all time who's written the lyrics, I don't know how many songs. Call Me Irresponsible, Time After Time, 3 Coins in a Fountain. Sneaked into New York to do a limited engagement at the Golden Theater called Words and Music, which is absolutely sensational. He comes out and he sits and he plays. And Sammy's got a personality. He loves to sing, not professional, but probably sings his songs as good as anyone. He's got Kelly Garrett. Hasn't she been with us on this show?
Yeah.
Finds her, and a couple of other young singers, and he's been a smash.
Yeah.
He walked in, and Clive Barnes says a hit, one-man show with the 3 people, and it's at the Golden Theater in New York. And if you want to have a great time, go down and see him. It's a great, great evening.
Yeah.
But you forget the stuff he wrote.
I don't know.
Sensational. Well, I'm just naming those 3. What else did he write, Fred? You know. Call Me Irresponsible.
Hudson Rawson, I think he wrote.
Oh, he didn't write Hudson
write that?
Rawson. But he gives the background.
Didn't you write that, John?
Yeah.
Sure he wrote that.
He gives the background on how they came about and meeting with some of these people and how he came to write and so forth. Utterly fascinating.
Is this his spot that I'm doing?
That's right. I plugged that dump you've got in New York. You see, you want me to turn on you already?
You're very cruel to me. I'm trying to be so nice.
Well, everybody's got a vulture as a maitre d'. I mean, what kind of a place is that?
Right.
What else was I going to ask you?
I don't know.
I don't care either.
I don't care either.
I want to ask you something seriously.
Okay, let's be serious.
Now, you know I've been to admire you for many years.
You watched the show last night, too, huh?
Now, come on.
Okay.
And I want to ask you something just as a frustrated drummer. You know, I sit here and then bang on this thing and do all these things.
Yes, I've noticed that.
How... You don't read music as such.
Right.
How do you sit down with a group when they've got arrangements and know where you're supposed to play and lay out and how many bars you're supposed to do after hearing it once or twice? I've never been able to understand it. It'll be a 10 or 12-minute number, and you listen to it, and then you come up without the charts or any symbols or anything and play it. How do you manage to do that? I'm serious now.
I don't know.
Is that something that is just built in or what? Can you hear something and then know, hey, when I get there, I've got to do 16 bars and know that comes in there on... Now, Doc is shaking his head like what?
No, I don't think there's any actual thought process involved. I mean, I think it's more of a reaction. I mean, when he sits in with us...
Move over there a second, buddy? Come on, sit over here. Thank you. No.
I heard that about you, too.
Now, how is it actually? What do you mean?
You're playing musical chairs? What year were you?
What year group?
You're 22, right?
No.
I mean... Cigars, cigarettes, what kind of...
I knew I wasn't going to get it straight. It always fascinates me, and it does.
How about these cufflinks?
But you just come from Jack Carter's house, did you 2 guys? Now, tell me, What I'm trying to ask is a serious question.
Not so far.
How does he know?
No. I think it's more of a reflexive,
Well, what?
reflexive action.
Oh, is that what it is?
I mean, there wouldn't possibly be time even with...
It'll come off.
Try to
What's the
ask the
matter?
one
No,
question of
he
some
would not
import.
have...
It fascinates me.
You want to know something? I really don't care.
I think Tom...
Tommy,
Tommy,
come here and explain it to me.
Will you, Tom? You need some help, don't
It's
you?
the left foot and the right foot, Tom. Left foot, right foot, left, right, left, right. That's it. Sit. Come on. Now, I wanted to know why. I was trying to ask him a serious question. I don't understand how he can...
Have a little drink to cool you down while we're waiting.
Don't drink that, it's terrible.
Would you two clowns... What is it? How can he...
Have you seen these cufflinks, Tom? Where does it say drummer goes boom, boom?
What is it? Guys, okay. Now, come on.
Thanks a lot for coming up, Tom.
I want to know what it is. Come here, Don. Let me talk to... Here, move over. Now, here's a man who knows. Don... Can you tell me, Don... Could you explain exactly the musical background that enables him to do this?
What?
And this is the band doctor. Does he do, is it a metronome quality that is built in? I guess this is... In other words, would you say that it's not as much, it's natural music ability as compared to, say, a studied musical type of training, say a Juilliard versus an automatic reflexive type of training? Is this an inherited ability? Do you think through a genealogy that, in other words, a parental type of thing that comes through with the genes, or is this something that comes automatically?
Oh, yeah.
Would you go back and sit down? Tommy, take me back. Gabriel Kaplan opens tomorrow night at a new club in